Retweeted by Donald J. Trump from Breitbart. Nolte, top pollster finds 47% say likely Democrats stole election. Only 50% of likely voters say the 2020 election was not stolen by Democrats, while 47% said it is likely Democrats stole the election. There are polls, and then there are poll-alls. Fox News, New York Times, Siena, Washington Post, ABC, Quinnipiac, NBC Marist, Reuters, Ipsos, Monmouth, Politico, Morning Consult. Those are all poll-alls, totally useless liars and propagandists who have gotten 3 election cycles so horribly and deliberately wrong, only a fool would pay attention to them. Liars, damned liars, poll-alls. Get away from me with your poll-alls. And don't even get me started on that useless clown, Nate Silver. Based on their track record, actual merit, I trust IBD and TIPP, Susquehanna, Trafalgar, Rasmussen. Those are pollsters. Those are polls as opposed to poll-alls. And when Rasmussen tells us a whopping 47% of likely voters believe the Democrats stole the election, I am confident in passing that along. Quote, how likely is it, Rasmussen asked 1,000 likely voters between November 17th and 18th, that Democrats stole votes or destroyed pro-Trump ballots in several states to ensure Biden would win? Only 50% said it was not likely, while a whopping 47% said it was likely. Not at all likely, 41%. Not very likely, 9%. Somewhat likely, 11%. Very likely, 36%. There's another way to look at this. Only 41% are certain the election was not stolen from Trump. The partisan breakdown is not exactly what I expected, with 75% of Republicans, 75% saying it is very, 61%, or somewhat 14% likely the election was stolen. Get this, 30% of Democrats say it is very, 20%, or somewhat 10% likely the election was stolen from Trump. Of course, 69% of Democrats say that it is not at all 61% or not very 8% likely that the election was stolen from Trump. Still, that 30% of Democrats who say it was stolen, it's pretty remarkable. On the issue of whether Trump should concede, 61% say he should, while 33% say no. 84% of Democrats, 37% of Republicans, and 59% of unaffiliated voters say Trump should concede. But 57% of Republicans disagree, which means they want him to keep up the fight. When asked the all-important question of whether your friends and neighbors think Trump should concede, only 51% say yes, while 30% say no. 18% are unsure. The reason the friends and neighbors question is important is because America's top pollsters believe that question is a more accurate reflection of the true intent of the person being surveyed. Now that we live in an increasingly fascist country where roving bands of left-wing brown shirts will either get you fired or blacklist you or physically assault you for supporting Trump, people have become shy about telling pollsters the truth of their Trump support. So, let me repeat this. Only 51% say Trump should concede. Lol. Democrats and their media minions are losing the public relations battle and losing it badly. Someone still needs to explain to me why 4 deep blue cities, Detroit, Philadelphia, Atlanta, and Milwaukee, all of a sudden stopped counting when Trump was in the lead. Never in my life have I seen the counting stopped like that. And when the counting restarted, you look at all those Biden votes. Brother, that stinks to high heaven, and until I hear an explanation that makes sense, no, you know what? There is no explanation that would ever make sense of that. So, until the votes in those states are audited in detail with transparency, I will never completely accept the outcome of a Biden victory.
I will be the greatest president that God ever created.